Oh my God, DeDe got a podcast?
What?
DeDe got a podcast.
What's the tea? What's the vibe? What's the hype? Yeah, we live. Talk a little this, a little bit of that, a little bit of love, a little bit of ratchet. That's DeDe. Go DeDe. Go DeDe. Go DeDe. You a bad bitch. You a savage. Making money is a habit.
Hey, it is DeDe's Dope Podcast. It's DeDe in the morning. Listen, I'm excited about today's show. This is the show, by the way, I always say, you can catch a laugh and you'll get the tea. We're going to get some tea here. Yes. But this woman right here, my guest today, she can be seen on Belle Collective.
Yes.
And she's one of the stars, Tambra Cherie.
Yes.
Now, Tambra, first of all, we've been talking off the air.
We have.
About a lot of stuff and a lot of things. And you're my type of chick, and I'm going to tell you why. Number one, you don't have kids. And I'm not saying you're my chick because of that. It's the reason how we've had that conversation.
Correct.
You believe in vision boards.
Yes.
And I love that.
Yes.
You do radio.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about all of that.
We have a lot of things in common.
Yes, we do. I mean, you just fine as hell, girl. You work out.
too. We have a lot of things in common.
Girl, you work out a lot, don't you?
I do not, DeDe.
No.
I do not, but I will.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Okay.
I love going outside, walking outside. I will walk 3, 4, 5 miles without a problem.
Okay.
I will do that. But I also do that because I love it. Not only because I love it, but it's a part of my self-love, that mental health that you go outside and just enjoy being outside. I don't want to hear any music.
Yeah.
That's my quiet time. I listen to music 4 hours a day.
Girl.
That's my quiet time.
Okay.
So yes.
We are alike. We are alike.
will.
You want to know why we're alike? Because I tell people all the time, I've been doing radio, and that was another reason why I ended up marrying my husband. I have been doing radio for 20 years, over 20 years, right? And if I'm doing it that long, you got to remember, I'm listening to music for 4 or 5 hours a day.
Yes.
So what most people think of as, I've gone to concerts, almost every concert. I either went to it, had to host it, do that.
Yes.
It's like movie premieres. We have movie premieres with the station. And again, not that it's bad, but what people didn't understand is that's our life, our work.
That's our work. That's our life.
Yeah.
24/7, all the time.
So
to me, you don't turn radio off.
No.
When you're a personality all the time. Whether you're in the grocery store, you're hanging out, you're always a personality.
Yes.
For sure.
And you're always paying attention about something either you could listen to, you could talk about on the air the next day or whatever it is, right?
Just by listening.
Listening.
And people don't realize that. People see me and they think that she's a talker.
No. When you're not on. Oh.
Yes. People think that I come in the room, I talk, and they're like, sometimes I'm quiet because I'm a great listener. Great personalities are and for us.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Every day, that is content.
You know what? Okay, you are reading and saying the same things I say. Let me tell you why. And I was going to say this about the husband. That's why I married. You want to know why I ended up marrying this man? Is because when we went out, he took me rock climbing. He took me to a soccer game. He took me camping. Guess what? None of the stuff I had ever done.
I was just about to say, you probably have never done any of those
None of it. Most of the time, a guy will come and he'll say, you want to go to a concert? You want to go to a movie? You want to go out to eat? You want to go, let's go listen to some, let's go. This guy did things that I had never done before. I went, oh, I love it. He's taking me out of my element, right? And he's taking me out of doing something that I'm used to doing for work.
Yes.
Right? So which is good. So I get what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like what we end up doing, and you were listening. And mental health, when you said you go for a walk, I love being outside.
Yes, absolutely.
You're real big on mental health?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Yes.
Why? Let me ask you this, because I know, as a country, as a people, we go in droves and we all gravitate towards things, right? And there becomes a buzzword, buzz phrase, the thing to do right now. Mental health is the thing, right? Were you always like this, or you got into it because now it's the buzz thing, everybody's talking about it?
Always.
Good.
Always. And I will say this. I think I wrote my book came out maybe... Time goes by so fast. I want to say maybe 2018 or 2019.
Wow, yeah.
Because it goes by so fast.
Yeah.
But that was a part of, I talk about the name of the book, Surrounded by Sin, Grounded by Love.
Yeah.
Subtitle, 8 Simple Keys to Becoming a Better You.
I love it.
How do we become better?
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about your mental health and taking care of yourself, being able to say no and be okay with that.
Oh, man.
Some things do not deserve your energy whatsoever.
Right.
Like whatever you focus on grows.
Yes, it does.
Yes. So I talk about those things because that's a part of your mental health for you.
I agree. You know, I had to learn to say no. I started trying to do everything and host everything in the city and do this for everybody, that I realized I had my family, my mom, my brothers and sisters. I have a husband. You know what I mean? I was going, I need to stay home. I need to clean my house. I need to wash clothes. I'm not going to be able to host everything, right? And then it became this thing of mentally taking care of yourself. And I used to always remember somebody had said that to me, you know, you can't pour, you know, from your cup. You can't keep pouring from an empty cup almost. You know, if we're empty, how can you pour into somebody else?
How can you help someone? Exactly.
If you're empty. So I had to really take that into consideration and take care of me.
And in this industry, look, we will ignore emails.
Yep.
Just to keep from saying no.
Girl.
I noticed it. I would be like, you know what? It's okay to say no.
Yes.
It's okay. And learn to be okay with that.
So, you know, you were into this and you were ahead of your time when it comes to mental health. I'm listening to you talk, and I have a feeling you probably, because you've done vision boards.
Yes.
I've been doing vision boards for over 15 years.
Really?
It's been that long.
It's been that long.
Yeah.
I would say I've probably done it, let's see, we are in 2022. Probably since about 2017.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to tell you. Okay, see, and I got into them, and this is the reason why I can tell you. And my husband and I will be married coming up on, it'll be 12 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And here's the thing that's so interesting. When I first, I had it on my vision board, I was single. And I had on my vision board, I had a ring. This is how old and long this was, you guys. Usher was married to his first wife. It was the younger woman, I think. She was older than him.
Wow.
Right. Remember, he was married to an older woman.
He's always been married to an older woman, so that could have been all of them.
I can't remember. Okay. So he was married to an older woman. And who else was on my vision board? And basically the woman was older than the man. And I didn't even recognize that part. I just saw that it was a beautiful couple, black couple. And the woman was older than the man. And what do I end up with? A guy who's much younger than me. I'm older than my husband.
Really?
And I didn't know it. So vision boards work, right?
I do. Absolutely.
Okay. We were talking about this. You're on OWN. You're on Oprah. I'm going to tell you here's my story about my vision board.
Okay.
So I used to do a national show with Doug Banks. May he rest in my favorite. Oh my God, I love him. He's my brother. And I'm where I am because of him. I always give him credit and love. And we worked on a show together, and we were nationally syndicated in the afternoon. And he said, I want to be on in Dallas. And I said, me too. So every day I would leave work with him and I'd go, I want to be on in Dallas. I want to be on in Dallas. I want to be on in Dallas. Because I speak in once. Focus on what you want. Speak in once.
Manifest it. Absolutely.
Yep. And so somehow I'm thinking, me and him, because we both wanted our show, I was the co-host, to be on in Dallas. Sure enough, I end up on in Dallas. They asked me to join the local morning show in Dallas. Amazing. And I was on, and not even the station I was trying to be on with him. It was a whole different station. And I went, this works.
It works.
Your story. Tell everybody how you got on OWN.
Well, honestly, I did talk about this.
You were on the vision board.
I talked about the vision board. The vision board, that particular year, I put OWN, the network, on my vision board. And I also put Oprah. I have a picture of Oprah on my vision board. In my mind, I am thinking, because I have this book and she has a book club. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking I'm connecting with the book.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking television at all.
Or a TV show of hers, right.
No, that's not what I was thinking. And then the fact I love Oprah.
Yep.
That's who we look up to.
Yeah,
I watch her interviews. Mm-hmm. I think she's amazing. I've watched her growing up.
Right.
So of course I'm thinking book club.
Right.
Oprah.
Yes.
Well, did the vision board in January. Later on, I think that call, we probably started filming in August.
Wow.
Yes. So I received that call in July.
Wow. And wait, and so, isn't it weird? You had on there Oprah and what you thought. This is why they always say, you know what? Let God do his work, right?
Let God do his work, because his plan is always going to be better than
what you even know, thought, whatever. So sometimes you got to when they say let go and let God, that's what you do.
That's what
right?
you do. That's exactly what you do.
Okay. So now you get the call. Somebody calls you and says they've got this show. And you were like, were you immediately interested or were you like, let me see?
Well, to be honest, I was immediately interested because of OWN.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was the
Me too.
Oprah Winfrey
Yeah,
Network.
yeah. Soon as
Yes, that sparks immediate interest for me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if Oprah called me, I wouldn't go, wait, huh? Wait, who? What? Maybe.
It was the network.
Yeah.
It was the network for me. That's what sold it. And then, of course, let's say this. It was in Jackson. And Jackson is very dear to me because there's so many stereotypes on the city of Jackson and Mississippi just alone.
Really?
And being a part to break some of those stereotypes for people to see just not the stereotypes that you've always heard.
Yeah.
For you to see Jackson in a different light. That's important to me.
Good.
For you to see successful Black women, for you to see successful Black entrepreneurs in the capital city, for you to see our restaurants, our nightlife, for you to see me doing radio, because on reality TV, for me, I did not see a lot of radio personality
at all
on television.
Yeah, at all.
So that's important for me. So things like that, that's important.
Yeah.
Of course, there's going to be cattiness. There's going to be drama. There's the shade. There's going to be that.
But can I tell you something?
Yes.
Because again, I had told somebody I had been offered. People have come at me and wanted me to do stuff for some reality shows and things like that, right? But I'm with you. I think knowing that it was going to OWN, there's a level of class. And there's a level that Oprah's own network is not going to let you guys go to anyway. So I get why. I understand what the attraction was, because I'm sure you're not flipping tables, are you?
No.
Okay, good.
I'm not flipping tables. Like, we have disagreements, but we would never touch each other.
Good.
Like, it would never get to that. Like this, we wouldn't do that.
And I think can I tell you, it's interesting because when I look at some of these reality shows and like, I remember when Beverly Hills first came out, The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. You know why I like this so much is because I like the way they resolved their issues, right? There were times when they would have issues, but I thought they weren't embarrassing themselves so much, and it wasn't, you know what I mean? Like I liked it for a while because it just felt nice to see people and women resolve disagreements without being ignorant, calling each other names, flipping things. It was like, we can't sit here on one hand and talk sisterhood and then turn around and do those kind of antics.
And that's true. And that's true. But for me, I have to learn that, I keep it on the screen.
Yeah.
I keep it on the screen. When we do it, we do it. And that's when it happens. And it stays on television. Good. It's not rolling over until now.
Right.
Like in our lives right now.
Yeah.
Like I've learned to do that, because at the end of the day, our executive producer will tell you, this is your job. This is what you're doing. This is a job. And I'll tell you, every platform has a purpose. So it has to have a purpose for me.
Yeah.
And it does have a purpose.
Good. I love the fact that you're saying it's just African-American women with businesses who are, you know what I mean?
And everyone
working.
is successful. Everyone is successful in their own business and what they are doing. So for me, that's what I'm saying. The good definitely is going to overshadow the bad, the cattiness, the pettiness. I will admit, like this past episode, I hit on a table, we're at each other's faces, but we would never.
But you
touch
didn't
each
go
other.
right, which is
we would never do that. Like we can be neck to neck. We would never do that.
Good.
Like we know.
You already know, and know that we're watching and we're looking, and you are on OWN. And
we know that for sure. And then we sat down at the table and pretty much finished our conversation and went to another scene. And they were like, wait, this went from 0 to 100 back to 0.
Right. Good.
Because, we know how to move forward and move on.
I love that. So here it is that you had a vision board and you put on there about Oprah, OWN. And how did you get into vision boards, by the way?
To be honest with you, I'm a church girl. Okay. I believe in praying, but I also believe when you get up off your knees from that prayer, you have to do the work.
Yeah.
You have
What
to
is
do
the quote, right? All work. What is it? Faith without works?
Yes.
Dead.
You have to do the work yourself. So I think I just started vision boards because I believe in writing things down.
Yep.
I've always written things down.
Well, that's a spell.
Even before. Look, you said that's a spell.
You cast a spell, they say, when you spell it out.
See, I believe in writing things down.
do too.
Before I was doing vision boards, every year I was writing my goals down.
Me too.
And I tell my listeners, I say that all the time, write it down. There is nothing like putting something on paper.
I agree.
Because that's a part of writing your plan.
Yeah.
When you see it, you vision it, it's on paper, read it, talk about it, manifest.
Let me tell you, I always tell people this, about, if somebody told me and they told you, hey, DeDe, Tambra, I want you guys to get to New York by Friday, right? Let's say it's a Friday. We want you to get to New York by Friday. I always tell people, don't ask me how I'm going to get there. Just tell me what my destination is and I'll figure out the steps.
Yes.
Just give me, and the biggest problem I always say with people, and that's the reason why I love vision boards and writing down my goals. There was a girl I used to work with, and shouts out to my girl, Jade. She used to always laugh at me because I would always say to people, what's your 5-year plan? And my mother used to always tell me everybody should have a 5-year plan. And she told me the reason why is early on in my radio career, I hit a goal. And the goal was to be in a major. I started in like market 180 something, right? In Killeen, Fort Hood. And I remember saying, I want to be in a top 10 market by the time I'm 25. Well, I hit that goal by the time I was like 22. And my mom, and I just started coasting. And my mom said, no, you don't coast. She said, when you hit a goal, you set another one and another one and another one and another one. And she said, every 5 years, you need to have a different goal. You know, you have these goals that you want this in these 5 years. And then you hit it and you do a next one. And
add that to my
what? I know.
Yeah.
And so there's a 5-year plan, and I feel like everybody should have somewhere do you want to be, and that's that destination. If somebody told me go to New York by Friday, there's the goal right there. How I get there now, my steps become easier once I pinpoint what the goal is.
So,
right? It becomes easier.
Agree. It becomes easier, and I agree. Let me tell you something. I remember the very first time that I did Dish Nation.
Mm-hmm.
The very first time I filled in for the brat. Eva sat next to me.
Oh, wow. Eva Marcel.
Came from reality television.
Mm-hmm.
The next time I filled in for the brat, Portia sat next to me. Portia came from reality television.
Wow, I love it.
So, you know, for me, it's like, I love Dish Nation. I love being among other different personalities where all you have to do is be yourself and offer your opinion.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
And they came from a different world. Wow. So that goes back to the destination, but we all come from different worlds.
And this is, okay, so I'm going to tell you, this is interesting. Have you ever watched or read The Secret?
You know what? Years ago, I read the book. Years ago.
Okay. And guess this is weird too. Oprah. I watched Oprah, and she talked to the woman and had her on, and it became this. Everybody, did you see Oprah? Did you hear about The Secret? The Secret. Everybody was like, you got to get it. And so I went and I got the DVD and watched it, and now I have it downloaded on my phone. When I'm on a plane, when I'm always watching it over and over. Bob Proctor, may he rest in peace. He is unbelievable. You talk about manifestation. That's the man who really made you think about it. That's what made me do vision boards. It's what made me, watch The Secret, and I watch it over and over. And there's another book, and I always tell people about The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. Have you ever heard of it?
No, but I'm going to get it when I leave.
It's a very thin book. The Game of Life. And it's about imagery, what you imagine, you bring about, what you speak about, you know what I mean? All that other, it's the same thing about, manifestation, energy, which is what we are. And it's what you're talking about and how you live your life. How you're able to do what you do and have what you have is because you visualized it, you wrote it down, you had a goal, and everything else. Now, God will still do what he did with you. Yes. He did it to me too, though. Yes. He did it to me. You want to hear mine on my vision board?
Absolutely.
And my husband too. I had Barack and Michelle Obama on my vision board years ago. My husband did too. I put it up as they were just a power couple.
Okay.
Right? We get invited to the White House.
Wow.
Back then, when, this is like 7 years ago or so, when Doug, the guy I work with, he couldn't go, and somehow we were able to go to the White House for the Christmas party. My husband and I were we're in picture with Michelle and Barack, and it was on his vision board. We weren't even thinking to meet him.
Yes.
It was on his end line.
Him as the power couple.
That's
why you put it on your vision board.
Yes.
Yes.
And then we meet him, right? So there's how important imagining and seeing yourself somewhere can be, but then God can just take it to the next level.
But I will be honest with you too, when it comes to my vision boards, I have maybe 2019, 2020, 2021, 22, they're all together. I still keep them.
Really?
And something that I may have put on 2020 may be happening in 2022.
Well, that's what it does. Oh, now this is what I've heard, and I don't do them all the time. I heard you really should only really redo your vision board every 3 to 5 years.
But I do it every year.
See, I only did about 3.
But it doesn't necessarily, for me, it doesn't mean that it has to happen in that year. Yes, because if it doesn't, I can go back and look at a vision board that I did in 2019
and go,
and it's happening now in 2022.
Here it is. Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. Isn't it weird and scary at the same time when you understand? To me, I always say this to people, when you understand how it all works, Meaning, what you think about, you bring about. What you speak about becomes important. What you focus on, yes,
it can only grow. What else is it going to do if you're so focused on it?
What you talk about, what you see. You know, it was funny because when I got married, I stopped watching certain shows, right? And one of the reasons, like, you know, the women who were going off on there, I can't think of the name of it now. That shows you how much I Snapped.
Oh,
remember the show Snapped?
Oh.
Once I got married, I stopped watching it.
And Fatal Attraction?
Fatal Attraction, stopped watching all of them because I realized visualize what I'm looking at matters. And I was like, I want my marriage to work. You see, I focus on what I want. And they say that in The Secret, by the way. They always talk about take the word don't out of your vocabulary.
And you know, I watch Snapped and Fatal Attraction, so I watch all of that.
You still watch it now?
I still watch it.
See,
now.
I can't. I love it.
I watch it now because now I just look at it like, you know, because I'm still single, Tech. I'm not married.
Yeah, but you're dating.
I'm dating. Correct. So, you know, you look at those red flags that you see in some of these relationships on television and you wonder, like, how could somebody be that way? Or how could, like, you know, so I still kind of, I watch those
See, I
shows.
can't. I'm telling you, I'm not wanting to watch them because of the negativity. Now, the only thing I can say about it that I prayed for when I was single, and I had a list of what the men I wanted and everything, but what I always wanted to have was discernment. And wanting God. So discernment, when you have that, hopefully you hope and pray you can figure out what you're dealing with when it comes to this man and you see those red flags.
Absolutely.
Right? So you want discernment.
Yes.
And then I also, when I got married, I also paid attention to the man I was with. God, like you, okay, for instance, God has blessed you. I said this, God blessed me with so much. When I tell you I was blessed and have been and continuously and blessed with so much. And I remember thinking to myself, whatever man came into my life, he needed to respect all of the gifts that God gave me.
Yes.
He needed to respect that. And if he couldn't respect what God gave me, he had to go.
Yes.
Girl, I knew then. Think about it. All that God has given you, you would disrespect God's honor, love, gifts, everything if you brought a man into your home who didn't respect what you have.
Absolutely. Jealous. You can date a jealous man.
Oh my God, I've had.
And it doesn't work out. I have too. It does not work out whatsoever.
Girl.
You cannot date someone that's jealous
of you,
of what you and what God has blessed you with and what you're doing in your career. It doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work.
Girl, you know what's so interesting? When we sat down and I was saying this about favor ain't fair. And somebody said it to me because I said, something happened or something came up and I said, it just came up out of the blue. I don't remember what we were talking about or what happened, you know, in my life. And they said, well, favor ain't fair.
Yes.
And some people get mad at that. But you same thing. You weren't looking for this reality show, right? The Belle Collective, right? It's not the Belle, it's just Belle Collective.
Belle Collective, correct.
You weren't looking for that necessarily. They called you, right?
Correct. That is correct.
It just fell out of you were like, what?
Yes, like literally, I was the last one to be cast for the show. So they had already done a pilot and everything.
And how did they find you? Did they say, or somebody, your name kept coming up in the
honestly,
city?
One of the young ladies that's on the show, her name is Letitia, and Letitia was doing brunches. Well, I hosted a lot of her brunches.
Okay.
She had been doing them since 2017.
Okay.
I hosted a lot of her brunches, so we actually had a real relationship with each other.
Okay.
From me hosting her brunches. And so she was a part of the cast.
Okay.
And so, of course, she said when she's like, you know what? She called me about it. She talked to me about it. She's like, would you be interested in doing this? Like, if this was something, and I was like, sure, I would. And when I say it went like this, the very next day, the executive producer called. We talked via FaceTime and Zoom, and then right after that, she was like, they love you.
Wow.
They absolutely love you. It's a yes. It's a go. And for me, we started filming the next month.
How long is the filming for you?
Our season 1 was about 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Right about 3 months.
Okay. And like, what time do you start?
Season 2.
Yeah. Like, do you start all day long? Like, how does it work with the filming?
You know what? We get about 2 days off during the week. It is another job.
Wow, it really is.
Yes, it's work. It's work. You better show up for work.
But you also, when you show up for work, though, you have to be dressed.
Yes.
You guys all have to look good because you're going to be filmed.
Yes.
And you have to have your makeup on.
So most of the time, because we're doing a lot of events. We're doing a lot of events. Now, if you come to someone's home, they're not dreading in makeup when you're at someone's house.
Okay.
Or if they're filming at your house.
Okay. Right.
But it's still a fun show. I will honestly say it's still a good show. Of course, we're there to entertain, but we're also there to encourage someone, to motivate someone,
I love
to
that.
inspire someone,
Yeah.
in the different businesses that we're doing. And hopefully you can relate to someone on this show. I did talk about fibroids. I was one of those women. I've dealt with fibroids since my 20s.
Me too.
So I talk about that.
Yeah.
I've had fibroid surgery.
Oh.
That was a part of why I froze my eggs.
You froze your eggs how long ago? A couple of years ago?
Yes.
Good for you.
I did.
Yeah. See, I didn't. I should have. I should have done it. And my husband and I we have no kids. Yeah.
But did you want kids?
No, not necessarily. It wasn't like that was, I always tell people this, my father passed away when I was like 6. I was 6 years old.
Young.
So I didn't grow up with my father. So for me, finding a man, and my mother's an only child, so I didn't have an uncle and right? Okay. So it's like, and then her father died when she was young. So there was no male figure that I grew up as a little girl that I was close to or felt. And I always wanted to find my better half, that man that I could feel comfortable with. Because when you don't have that man around as the father figure, an uncle, a grandfather, and there's no one around, you don't know how to be or act around a man. And for a long time, I didn't know how to act. I wasn't quite sure how to act as a woman. Get what I'm saying? And so for me, finding my better half and being comfortable with a man and feeling protected and safe within a relationship with a man was more important than having a child. I thought that was, I didn't know, by the way, let me just say this, and let me keep this 100. What I didn't know back then was that isn't as easy. I thought, because, you look around and they made it seem like as black women, we could have children all day, every day, right? So I was like, they made it seem like we had too many. We were procreating too much. So I was like, well, a child is easy to have, because everybody.
Not.
And it's not.
It's not.
It's not. And I've had some issues now, not knowing, when my husband and I got married early on, we tried and we couldn't, and miscarriages and things like that I never have spoken about. I don't speak about things for clout, fame, or to get some sympathy, whatever. But anyway, but no, I didn't. I wanted to find my better half more. I did.
And I understand that.
Yeah. But I did have fibroids too. But I had fibroids. That was another reason why I found out I was having issues, is that I have the same thing, fibroids and everything else.
Did you have to have surgery?
They were asking me if I wanted to, and I said no. I didn't want to. I hate the word don't, by the way. I want to take that out of my vocabulary, that word. And you hear how I said want? Yeah. I told you I focus on wants. Yes. They say that in The Secret. That's why. In The Secret, which I watched years ago, again, one of the things they said is focus on what you want, not what you don't want. People will tell you all the time what they don't want, but they'll never tell you what they do want. So I want to take that word out. But I guess what I'm saying is I just know that now I look at kids and it wasn't that I didn't. There are people who say, I have girlfriends who say they wanted to be a mother. They've always wanted to be a mother. Myself now, what I regret is there were some traditions my mother passed on to me that I regret that I didn't have kids to pass on. Now I can show a child the world and see it in a whole different way and travel. There's so much now that I could do to pour into a human being to be great, I think. Absolutely. Is where I now go, dang it.
Well, about it though, if it's meant for you, it's meant for you.
Yeah.
Like, never say never.
So what about you? I mean, never. So you're dating. Do you think?
I'm dating. I've always been one of those ones. Like I am dating. I've always wanted to get married, but my focus just became on other things.
Okay.
Like my career.
Yeah. Did you think that? Did your focus get on your career because you had to, because the relationship wasn't working out?
No.
Or it just was where you always were, your head was at?
Yeah, to be honest, like after college, I just became so focused on what I was doing. And I know we were talking about in radio, we were just talking about, you have a good time.
Yeah, radio.
Like when you're young, you're having a good
This job,
time.
Radio is amazing when you're young girl.
I don't think people understand it. Like you're hosting things. You're going from this city to this city. And one time I was actually doing a television show that was a local television show, but we were going to Essence. We were going to concerts. Yes. I was interviewing people. Like I'll go to a football game, a Jackson State University football game, and interview the crowd.
Yes.
Like I was doing stuff like this. We're tailgating.
Yes.
You're having a good time. Every artist.
Yes.
Like you're just having a good time. And guess what? When you're having a good time, it flies by.
Yes, it is.
You do not realize how long you've been enjoying and having a good I remember someone asked me one time, and I was standing in front of my program director, and they asked how long I had been at the station. I was like, oh, probably about 7 years. He was like, more like 10.
No, you were like, what? Yeah, you can't even believe it goes. I swear, you were so right.
I was like, it's about 6, 7.
No.
More like 10?
Yes,
like 10? Are you serious?
I love the fact that you realize though how much fun we have in this business, don't we? It's really a blessing. It's a great.
So you're focused on. It just makes up for things that you're just not focused on in that moment. Because guess what? We think we have time to do that.
Yes.
You have the rest of your life to be married. Like you have the rest of your life to do this. So let me enjoy myself right now because I'm having a good time. So that's where my mind was at that moment.
Do you want to be a mother or do you want children?
You know what? I think at this moment, to be very honest with you, DeDe, I think I would make an amazing mom. Just how you just said. I think I would make an amazing mom. I did freeze my eggs, and that was just one of those things that I was like, you know what? I do want to be a mom. If God has that in my plan,
there it is.
Because my prayer is very specific. If God when it God knows what I can handle, and He knows what I can't, and I trust Him. So people have to understand I trust Him. So if it's meant to happen, I believe, honey, I believe in God so much you cannot have a uterus. If you're supposed to have a child, you're going to have a child.
I like you.
But that's the truth.
Yes.
That is the truth.
Okay, so what about adoption though? Like if you get married and let's say, you guys are trying with your eggs or whatever, would you adopt?
You know what? Before I do adoption, I would do my eggs because guess what? I also have frozen embryos.
Oh, dang.
I have frozen embryos. I have frozen.
You done freeze up everything in your body.
A, B, C, D, E.
Damn.
Did we talk about planning? Did we talk about?
You were like,
we talked about planning.
Yeah, here's your 5-year plan. If it don't work with this one, we're going to try this. I love it. I love it. Okay.
Yes, I have frozen embryos, and that is with the guy that's like my best friend that I've known for years. We were in a relationship for years. We broke up for a number of years, and then we came back together. Let's try this again. And that's who my embryos are actually frozen.
Oh, well, good.
With.
Okay.
So
well, then,
I know, right? So that's plan B, C, D, E.
Okay.
I'm not against a surrogate.
Okay. Me, I wouldn't be. I get it.
I'm not against that. I'm totally for that. At this point, I just trust God and His plan.
Now, what happens if you have a child? Let me just ask, and if you have a child and you go through all of this, you even get your embryos, you get a surrogate. You had a baby turns 18. You're like, hey, I want you to go off to Harvard. Baby says, no, mommy, I don't want to do that. What I'm getting ready to go do is go see the world and become a hippie and live out in my car. And what you going to do?
Oh.
How you feel?
You know what? I'm just going to pray. I'm going to pray because let me tell you something. And the reason I say that is because I went to Jackson State University, absolutely beat Jackson State University, proud graduate, but I did not go for radio. I went to Jackson State. I have an MBA degree. My major was management and marketing.
Okay.
That's what my major was. Now I go back to the university and I talk to
Good for you.
public speaking. I talk to them. The worst class that I did not like, I hated the class, was public speaking.
And here you are.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
I did not like that class. I felt like the teacher was always picking on me. I was like, she'll be the first person I'll call. I'm like, why is she picking on me? But guess what? People see things in you that you do not even see in yourself.
Hold on a second.
So I'm thankful for that.
You, with your gift of gab, got the nerve to not want to. Wait, what?
I did not.
Tambra, what?
I did not. That's like people asking me now. My least favorite class was public speaking. That was my least favorite class.
Okay, but you realize you have the gift of gab, right?
You know what? I've been told that.
You don't think so?
I've been told that.
I mean, but you get what I'm saying, because people will say certain things to me and I'll go, really? Or I don't even see it or whatever.
And we just talk.
Right. You never saw that in yourself?
No, I just
You never did like speech and drama in school?
No.
See, I did.
No, I
Really?
didn't.
Wow.
No. I just know I love people.
Hold on a second. His phone's going off. Yeah, Breeze, Breeze, you want to turn your phone off? We're recording. So yeah, wait a minute. And so you never really. Now you were the youngest of what, 2?
Yes.
Now, were your mom and dad, did they have personality like yours?
My dad, now he's a talker.
Okay.
He is the person that would get up and speak and talk to people. Now he is the talker.
Okay.
He's that type. And I would be honest, one thing about my parents, I always had I guess that's why my boundaries are like this. And it's so high because my parents have been married for about 53 years now.
Wow.
They met in high school.
That's so great.
They met in high school. Same thing with my grandparents. They were married for 50 years. So I've always seen love. You know, people talk about love goals.
Yep.
I've had them in my household. I see them right in front of me.
That's so great.
So yeah, I'm a little different when it comes to dating.
Yeah.
I'm a little different in taking my time to get married because I know how it goes.
But are you taking?
I've seen that.
Is it also you take your time? You're taking your time because you've seen Black love up close.
Yes, up close and personal.
Yeah. And is it when women are financially independent and financially secure on our own, we're not as quick to run into a relationship because sometimes, you know, you get into relationships because financially it works for you. You need somebody you get what I'm saying? Do you think that's what it is too?
I do believe that I am a go-getter.
Okay.
You know, I've always been that.
Me too.
I've always been a hustler. If you can't, I'm not going to ask you to do it because I know I can do it myself. Mm-hmm. You know, I've always felt like that. I can get it done. Mm-hmm. So I believe relationships are assets. It's not the main ingredient.
Okay. I agree with that. I love that. They're assets.
Yes. They can add to you, and they're supposed to.
Yes, they are.
You're supposed to bring some type of value to me. Add to me.
Yes.
Add to me. Support. And I'm not even talking about financial support. We can be talking about emotional support.
Yes.
Someone to talk to.
Yes.
You know, things like that are important, more important to me than money.
So do you find that men are intimidated by you?
You know what? I have definitely met some men that are very intimidated by me.
You know, some men don't agree with that. Some people say that, you know, men are not intimidated by a woman. Let me ask this. Is it that they're claiming they're not intimidated, or do they know that she's just too much for me on another level for me?
I believe in all of that. I remember I was dating someone and I do commercials. I would do commercials, television commercials. And I remember sitting in that person's house and a commercial came on with me on. And he's like, "Oh, you on TV again?"
No.
See,
bye-bye.
That red flag.
There it was.
That red flag. That's not someone who's there to support you.
No.
That's not someone that's there to see you win. It's like, gee, like, you know, it's like that's a competition. That's a red flag.
Girl, I had a guy. This is before I got married. Again, you know, I was single. I was on a nationally syndicated show doing my thing. I had just bought my own house. You know, I was really proud and everything. So I was getting ready to get my income tax check, right? I was excited. And I said to the guy I was dating, I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy a real big screen TV, you know, a real big one to go here in the family room or whatever. And he said, must be nice. And I remember then, girl.
You're not with him now.
Nope. I did not. That boy said, must be nice.
Right.
One time I tried to date another guy. He came in my house, looked around. He said, this look good. So where's Mr. McGuire at? I was like, I'm looking for him. He's like, yeah, okay. I wonder where he was. I was like, okay, people. I mean, like, I understand. But here's the other one I was going to ask. Have you heard people say, well, Tambra, you emasculate men? Have you ever heard anybody tell you that?
No, I would say no.
Good.
No.
Good. Because my mother told me one time that I had to be a little bit more demure. I needed to play a little bit more helpless.
But no, to me...
Think about that. That's that old school thinking.
That's old school thinking, because at the end of the day, we are very strong-minded women. We're very strong-minded. We're used to doing things ourselves, but when the right one comes along...
Oh, you will...
the right one, we don't know. We can be there. The right one comes along and in situations, and you know that because you're married.
I'm married, and guess what though? But can I tell you something?
That feminine side comes out, and you're like, yeah,
girl, Tambra, it took me 5 years for my feminine side to take. Honestly, it took me 5 years to really, truly relinquish.
But that's because that trust,
Yep.
that level of trust and protection and security that we talked about, because we're used to that ourselves.
Yep. And I had a hard time.
That.
And I had a really hard time. Even now, he'll say to me, "What can I do to help?" or "What do you need?" and I'll be like, "I'm fine," because I'm just so used to doing it myself. But it did take me a long time to finally. He'll tell you it took me a long time to even trust as we got into the marriage. Like even just the financial things to hand him, or to what can I discuss or share. It was really. Even though we knew about it and talked about it, went to counseling before marriage, once we got married, I would just slowly, because I needed to see.
Yes.
It's one thing, because he lived in his house and I lived in mine. And now I can see that he handled his business, I handled mine, but But sometimes you come together, it's how do we handle, right? You know, is he going to hold on to that bill until the pink slip come, or is he going to pay it right on time?
Exactly. You can see actions, because this is one thing, we can tell a person anything.
Right.
But when you see those actions
There
and
you
what
go.
I see you can tell me, but what are you doing? I want to see
How
what
you,
you're
yeah,
doing. How you're
your
doing
process,
it.
how you think
Yes.
about it.
Yes.
So when would do you have a goal in mind when it comes to marriage? I know you're dating somebody now, again. How long do you think you should date him before you move on?
Was this the simple fact that we've actually dated before?
Okay. All right.
We have dated before, so we may move a little faster
Okay.
this time around because we do know each other.
What-
You know, although we were apart for many years, but during those years, people grow.
Yeah.
So
oh, good.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
And maybe 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
So that's a lot of growth.
Yeah.
I've grown. I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago at
No.
all.
Oh,
if
me
you
either.
knew me 5 years ago, you don't even know the same person
I
because
agree.
I continue to grow every year.
But
and
isn't
get
that great?
Better
But you
every
should, too.
year.
And thank God
As
for that.
You should. Thank God.
Because I
for
can't stand when
growth.
somebody like, oh, she didn't change. Aren't we supposed to?
We're supposed to change.
Yeah.
We're supposed to grow. Every level requires a different version of yourself.
Come on, girl.
Better than
Oh,
you
I
were
love
the
you.
last time.
I love
That's
you.
what we're supposed to do.
Girl, okay, so let me ask. Because here's the thing. My mother often told me this. And when I got married to my husband, you know, my husband and I, we met in 2009. And we got married in 2010.
It moved fast.
And we've been married, right?
You've been married.
And the reason why my mother told me, she said, you know, when you're 22, you know, you're 18, you're 22, whatever, you can go out there and date years and years and years. She said, but as you get a little older and you start looking at your life, what you want or whatever, why is it taking so long to figure that out? Right? So that's what I'm going to ask you. Will you date somebody longer than 2 years? Will you go another 5 years?
No.
Okay.
The answer is no, because now you date with a different purpose.
Yep.
You date with a very different purpose than what you did 5-10 years ago.
Do you want to be married?
Absolutely.
I'm glad that you said it.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to clap it up for you. Let me tell you why. Because I often say this to women too. When people will say to me, you know, oh, I want to meet a good guy. DeDe, where'd you meet your husband? I want to meet and blah, blah, blah. Do you want to get married? Well, no, I just want to have some fun. No, stop lying to yourself and him or whoever. If you want to be married, say it's true that you want to find your life partner and you want to be married, spend the rest of your life with, own it, say it. And let it become true. But all of this other hemming and hawing and lying and acting like you don't want it and then wonder why it eludes you, well, speak it into existence.
Absolutely. The answer is yes, absolutely.
Okay, I can talk to you all day.
Yes.
And I know that we let everybody know all about your show. And here's the thing I need to tell everybody. Not only do you have the reality show.
Correct.
You have the radio show.
Correct.
Which I see syndication coming in your future.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I see you leaving.
When you said something earlier, when you said, you was like, you manifested and you started saying, I want to be in Dallas.
Yep.
I want to be like, and I was just like, I need to start saying that because I've never said those things.
Yeah.
And when I think about it, I've never stated like markets. I've never
I did.
done that.
I did.
I've never
Girl.
done that. Because at the end of the day, I love television. I love it. I love it. Every platform has a purpose.
Yes.
Everyone.
I agree.
Every platform.
I love it.
Radio, TV, even what I do as far as helping women, as far as with the immunity tea. Like
I love it.
Everything has a purpose.
Yes.
And it's up to you to find that purpose of why are you there?
Yeah. And what is it you're wanting to achieve?
Absolutely.
You
What
know,
is the goal?
I tell people all the time, truthfully, one of the, growing up, I loved Tom Joyner. Right. And just from a radio perspective, as a young woman in radio, I'm looking at this guy who's syndicated, who's this, right? And I tell people all the time that I wanted my own syndicated show because of him. And what it was is, it wasn't just because I watched him, but what it was is his goal was to educate the Black community. His goal was to, if you really paid attention to Tom Joyner, even from his Tom Joyner Foundation to helping HBCUs, when he'd take a loved one to the doctor day, we have an issue with taking our family members to the doctor. And I remember saying, and I remember being in radio and a program director told me I had to do it his way. He said, until you get your own show or own your own show, you have to do it this way. And I remember being mad, but I looked at Tom Joyner and I said, but he's doing it his way. He went out there and he's educating. He's doing this for the Black community. I said, you know what? That's why I want my own show. I want to be able to do like him. And that was what the goal was. And I often tell people it wasn't the money. I was not. I was seeking what he was. It was the freedom,
out, honey. It's not much.
No,
money.
it ain't much money. Yeah,
We're working because we really
love it.
We love it. We want to be there.
Yes.
Like you're building. You started from the ground. Because I can honestly say, no, we didn't start out for the money.
We didn't start it. No. But when I saw what he was doing, it became I just wanted that freedom, and I wanted to see if, and then it became the goal of, can I do that?
I used to always say, and I still say this, but I started saying this when I was very early on. I always wanted to be more than a voice on the radio.
Yeah.
More than just a voice that you hear on the radio. I have to have purpose. I'm going to entertain you, but I have to motivate you, inspire you. I have to say more than here comes the next song.
Yeah, after a while you're like, I can't.
More than that. I have to be more than that. It has to be substance.
Yep.
How am I educating you? How can I help you? That's a part of who you are.
Do you know what? It's funny. That's why I really wanted to do the podcast, because, I do the national show, and the show is fun, and that's what we do. We're waking people up, and we're doing that. But there is another side of me.
But at the same time, you guys are still, I'm listening. Mm-hmm. You're still educating. You're still inspiring. We're still trying. You're still motivating. You're still doing all
in the
of
midst
those
of
things
the
in the midst of entertaining.
Yep.
And that's what it's about.
But that's why I wanted to do the podcast, which is what we're doing today. And you don't even realize what you just done. Your conversation right now, I so love it. And I can stay on this conversation all day, any day. And that is about positivity, manifestation, focusing on what you want, goals, building, female entrepreneurs.
Yes.
I love it. You are doing it. Let them know how to watch you when they should watch, and how to follow you to get your products.
Belle Collective is airing right now, Fridays on the OWN Network.
Yep.
9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Time. Mm-hmm. Also, pretty much follow me on Instagram at Tambra Cherie. That's my Instagram. Everything is my name.
Yeah.
Everything is my name.
And you have the book?
Twitter. Of course, the book, Surrounded by Sin, Grounded by Love. That's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble as well. Also, you can get on my website. My favorite immunity tea talks about boosting your immune system, because I am so big on that. I like to tell everyone I am still one of those people. I have never had COVID. I haven't had the flu. I haven't had a cold in years.
Girl.
I believe in boosting your immune system and staying healthy. I believe in that. You can find me www.tambracherie.com. DeDe, I love you.
You're good. Amazing. Please come back.
Yeah, please have me.
Yeah, back. I want you back. I want to look. You're one of the kind of ladies. We got to do. I'm gonna have 4 of us gonna be up in here. Us ladies. We got to do it.
I am here for it.
We're gonna do the real, the talk, the view with black women up here on my podcast. I need you.
Here for it.
All right, everybody. I told you guys we're gonna catch a laugh, and we're gonna get the tea every week right here. DeDe's Dope Podcast. Tambra, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Talk to y'all next week.
What's the tea? What's the vibe? What's the hype? Yeah, we live. Talk a little this, a little bit of that, a little bit of love, a little bit of ratchet. That's DeDe. Go DeDe. Go DeDe. Go DeDe. You a bad bitch. You a savage. Making money is a habit.